Every single thought we have or every sentence we speak is an affirmation. And it's either positive or negative. And it's going out from us and it's creating our experiences. However, when we talk about doing affirmations, what we're talking about is making definite positive statements to create something in our life or to remove something in our life. You see, if you stand there and say, I don't want this job, or I don't want this relationship, or I don't want these hips, or I don't want whatever, that does not get you what you want. That's what I call fighting the negative. And it doesn't do anything but keep what you have that you say you don't want. However, if you start saying and doing affirmations that I have a wonderful new job, or I have this most absolutely marvelous relationship, then you're beginning to create what it is you do want. Affirmations are like planting seeds. And if you think for a moment, when you put a seed in the ground, you do not get instant tomato plant or instant strawberries or instant oak tree. That seed goes in the ground and it has to germinate. That's the first thing, which means it breaks open its little shell. And little roots begin to go down. And it gets nourishment from the earth. And only then does the first little shoot come up through the ground. Now, when we're doing affirmations, too often people say, well, that isn't $1 million, and they stomp on that first little shoot. They don't give it a chance to grow. Doing affirmations is like planting a seed in the ground, and watering it is like repeating your affirmations. And you just keep doing them, and you keep doing them, and you keep doing them. And it doesn't matter whether you see the results or you don't see the results. And sometimes it just takes time. And too many people will do affirmations for 2 or 3 days and say, see, it doesn't work. You know, if everything happens in the perfect time-space sequence, and we want to trust that and we want to know that. So if you begin to do affirmations for yourself, and I think it's important that we do that on a daily basis, decide what you want and begin to do positive statements in present tense for what you want. You never want to say, I will have or I'm going to have, because if you do that, it keeps it in the future. And remember, if you say, I have a wonderful new apartment, and you're living in a dump, it doesn't mean that this is not a true statement. It means you are planting the seed that will germinate and grow and become the new apartment. So you just keep doing it, no matter where you are. Also, if you're leaving a situation, if you're in a job you don't like, if you're in a relationship you don't like, if you're in a house you don't like, and you want something new, begin to bless with love. Interesting. Bless with love where you are. And know that you're releasing your current situation with love. If it's a job, release it with love to the next person who will be delighted to have it. If it's an apartment, do the same thing. If it's a relationship, release that person with love to happiness which is meaningful to them. And that leaves you free to create and accept happiness that is meaningful to you. To me, I think enlightenment is letting go of all the things we believe that are not benefiting us in life, or that are barriers to our life, to the good things in life, and to release them one by one and just think, I don't have to believe that anymore, or do I want to believe that anymore? And making a conscious choice. When we can understand that every single thing we believe has been a choice, and it may or may not be true. It can be true for you and not for you, because it's your belief system and your belief system, and then I have my belief system. I say a lot, that may be true for you, it's not true for me. I may not say that out loud, but people are doing things or saying things, and I think that to myself a lot. And also, it has nothing to do with me. Whatever's going, that has nothing to do with me, because I'm under the law of my own consciousness. This is my pathway, and you have your pathway, you have yours, everybody does. So we're all on a journey, and I think the more conscientious we are about it and the more conscious choices we make, the better our journey is, or the easier, or the swifter, or we get more goodies, or we have better health.
For those of people that have tried to change their thinking but seem to be stuck, and can you give them some advice to help them to be more positive or to get through those places?
Well, I don't think that they've been trying and they're stuck. I think they just haven't tried. Because if you will practice this, even a small amount, it makes a difference. I have a simple exercise I give everybody, and some people say, oh, that's so stupid, it's so silly. But I ask them to look in the mirror, especially first thing in the morning, and just look in their eyes and say their name and say, I love you, I really, really love you. And this is enormously hard for most people to do to begin with, but as you continue to do it, it makes a big difference. You see, life loves you. Life really loves you. But if you don't love yourself, it's very hard for life to bring you the goodies because you've got this wall up. So when you can learn to love who you are, and that's the way you were born, when you were a little tiny baby, and when I say you, I mean everybody listening to this, we all adored ourselves. We loved our bodies, we loved every part of ourselves. And then we started to listen to other people who told us we weren't good enough, or we didn't do it right, or no, no, no. And so we decided that maybe we weren't very good. And that's where we get all mixed up. But when we can get back to that point of just adoring this marvelous critter in here, then life says, oh, she's got it, let's give her goodies. And then the next step is to be very grateful about it. When you're really grateful, then they want to give you more.
Remember, little tiny babies, when they're born, they absolutely adore themselves. And they're totally open, and they're full of love. They express themselves freely. They ask for what they want. They love their bodies from the top of the toe to the top of their head to the tip of their toes, and every point in between, including their own feces, which they'll gladly rub all over their bodies, because nobody's taught them guilt and shame. They know how wonderful they are. And then somewhere along the line, we get this idea that we're not good enough. And we start putting our tape measures around our waistline to tell us if we're acceptable. Or we read magazines that say we have to be a certain height or a certain weight before we're acceptable. Or we listen to the media that says we have to use a certain deodorant before we're acceptable. You know, it just doesn't make sense. We are absolutely divine, magnificent expressions of life, all of us. And like when we were in the circle looking at each other, each face is another unique expression of God. And we're not supposed to be alike. Since time began on this planet, there have not been two snowflakes alike. And there's certainly not been two people alike. And we're always trying to be like everybody else so we're acceptable. Our uniqueness is what makes us wonderful. So we want to love that and cherish it and acknowledge it. You see, if we really believe in our uniqueness and the wonder of each being, then there is no competition and no comparison. There can't be. We're just different, and we're meant to be different, and that's wonderful.
A lot of people say, I don't want to look at the past. My childhood was miserable, and I never want to think about it again.
Well, then it's very important that you start forgiving, because forgiveness sort of wipes the slate clean, so that other things can come in.
Yeah. Well, the tapping setup phrase, right, is even though I have whatever the problem is, I love and forgive myself. I accept myself. I love and
adore myself, or I love and approve of myself. Yes.
Right off.
That's to me like the mirror work that I do, or have people do also, is to look in the mirror and look into your own eyes and start with something really simple but difficult, like I love you, I really, really love you. And most people can't do that at all because it's just too painful. They have all these messages back here that says you're no good and you can't be, and besides your makeup isn't on right, or you forgot to shave today or something, you know. But once you can do that, if you do it over and over again for a while, it's like you connect on a different level with that inner child who's been waiting for years and years and years for you to acknowledge it. And something happens, and I couldn't tell you what it is, but I have learned that the people who do their affirmations in front of a mirror make much quicker progress than other people. It's just, it pushes through. When life calls us, That's when we have to answer. People say, how did you do everything that you did? Well, I answered the telephone and opened the mail and did what was in front of me. And then life would give me something else to do and something else to do. And it's interesting because it's now been, I think, 25 years since I wrote the second book, You Can Heal Your Life. And in that period of time, that book alone has sold 40 million copies worldwide. And I've always felt that I didn't do anything to promote it at all. It's just life took over, and life said, this book is going to go to this country, and this book is going to go to this country, and go to this country. And it's gone many, many places all over the world. I even have 2 Chinese versions. There's the Chinese version of traditional China, and then there's the Chinese version of the Taiwan, which is the new China. You never know where life is going to take your work. And I think that it's important that you don't go into it to say, how much money can I make? Oh, I'm going to be rich. I've got to do this. Because books don't make you that rich. But what they do is open the world to you. And my thought has always been, how can I help the people? How can I help the people? And I think if you come from that point of view, it becomes a lot easier.
When I work with people, when I workshops or classes or anything, I always try to get people just to open their arms so that we can let the new in. Remember, this is the subconscious mind, and this is where we're holding. So this is saying nothing new will get in. So I always like to feel that I'm open and receptive to new ideas, and I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to change, and I'm willing to grow. And sometimes I don't want to, and sometimes it hits areas that I don't really care to change at the moment. And, you know, that's always an area that I know is important for me to work on.
When we have a problem, most of us go, oh, panic, panic, God, what are we going to do, blah, 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 blah. But I have something that I try to get people to say. When the minute there's a problem, you stop and you go, all is well. All is well. Everything's working out for my highest good. And out of this experience, only good will come. And I am safe. And you do this, if it's a small thing, I say it 2 or 3 times. If it's a bigger issue, I babble it incessantly. But all is well, everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come, and I am safe. Now this quiets your inner turmoil down long enough for the universe to find the solution to the so-called problem. See, when there's problems, we don't have to fix problems so much. We need to fix our thinking and our attitude about how we respond to them. And then you get less and less. And when the solution comes, you say thank you. I say thank you many, many, many times of the day, often not to anyone else. I just, oh, thank you, that's so wonderful, thank you. And it's, you find more and more things to be thankful about. I was driving up today from San Diego, and the wildflowers on the hillsides are just beautiful this year. And I was thinking, I was so glad that I had the opportunity to see them. Because if I stayed down there, I wouldn't have. But this drive, which was, not a drive I particularly wanted to make, but it was gorgeous. One of the things that I think about the work that I do and the work our company does is that every product that we sell or the product that you get as a gift from us has the possibility to change the quality of your life, to improve the quality of your life. Now, whether you actually take that opportunity or not is up to you. That's freedom. Exactly. But you have, everything we give out can help people really improve the quality of their lives. And that feels good.
I think that's important because we do have a tendency in the society to just want to be fixed, right?
Yes, and that's it.
When I get over this problem, this will be it. I'll never have to deal with anything again.
Well, a lot of us just want to stop when we hit a safe place.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a bit of money, you've got some nice friends, you have a good house to live in, you're okay, and you think, all right, that's fine. I'm not going to touch anything else. But I have watched me and how life works for me is that when I get to a really good level, then it's like, okay, now we're going to deal with this thing.
Yeah.
And there's another thing. And I've learned to just say, okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
You know, instead of leave me alone, don't talk to me about that.
If you want to see the awesome affirmations video we did with Bob Proctor, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
How many times have you had somebody say to you, hey, have you got a minute, Bob? Have you got a minute? They don't want a minute. I want you to think about that. I read a poem one time.